I want those cameras on that lexicon of executive client research. We got some charts and graphs, we got some groups and gaps, and it's executive client research.
Let's have our cameras turned on.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Executive Client Research Episode 3. This is a very important meeting we've gathered you here for today. I found a suit jacket with the biggest shoulder pads I possibly could because this is a very important presentation that we have for you today. As of course always, our lead researcher Atticus joins us. Atticus, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I appreciate you calling this meeting to order.
Absolutely, we will be taking
somber.
attendance.
Is it a somber morning?
No.
Trying to get a sense. I'm kind of in the meeting trying to get the sense from my boss whether there's layoffs coming or.
Oh, there are
bonuses.
layoffs coming, and they are going to be affecting you, but
Okay.
that's good news.
Okay.
No, yeah, it's we're recording New Year's Eve, man. But we're in the office making moves regardless, because money never sleeps. I know you know that. I know
that.
our listeners know that.
I know they know that.
Everybody knows that, but not everybody's grinding on New Year's Eve, which I find problematic.
Despicable.
There's what is it? What is everybody grinding? When they say they're out there grinding, do you think they're grinding wheat? Are they grinding the edge of their blade?
I think they're just looking at TikToks about the stock market and waking up early. I think that's what the grind is.
But what do you think the idiom's origins are? Like where does the grind what was originally ground to give it this idea of is it the meat grinder?
To me, it seems like a word that we weren't using it to mean work since that time. I feel like it's probably just popped back up in terms of you're just grinding yourself down to a nub.
Sure.
Kinda
yeah,
like
and that's actually
grind.
good.
You're just
That's
like,
actually
I'm on my daily wearing myself down.
You know how there's less of you now? That's good.
Yeah.
There was
Working my
more
fingers
of
to
you
the
before
bone.
you started what you were doing. And now that you've done some of it, there's less of you. And
I'm going to get up even
good.
earlier tomorrow.
Yeah, actually, I'm going to try this. Video listeners or video watchers, is this going to work? Oh, yeah. That's what happens when you grind. This is what I was talking about when I was telling you that updating to the latest Mac OS was good. Is that you can do stuff
That's
like...
the kind of thing that you've got going for you?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Have you been doing that in meetings at work?
I've not...
Such as this? This is another work meeting?
I mean, by doing this today, yes.
Yeah.
Wait, does that have to do anything? Oh,
Audio
nice.
listeners, we've got a big thumbs down to that.
Mm-hmm. Folks, you're going to want to go over to youtube.com/executive client research. Actually, I don't know if that's the URL, but find us on YouTube. Subscribe over there, because you're going to see... Because we're going to have a visual-heavy episode today, actually, I believe.
And this is much more significant, I would say, than the green bubble divide that's been, business folks listening may be keyed in about Apple potentially adopting to RCS to eliminate possibly the green bubble situation with... but I think it's the party... emoji
Party
thing that you've
reacts
been doing. Yes,
Yeah.
I think that's really what is the class divide that makes the iOS a walled garden of celebratory animation.
Us over here, we're having a good time. You on the outside, you're not. So have you followed? I feel like I've seen headlines about the kind of back and forth about the green bubble is or isn't going to go away. Google figured something out. Hey, it turns out that you can do iMessage on Android now, but then Apple stopped that. But then they were also going to enable RCS or something. Have you followed any of that?
A little bit. For some reason, my phone has just been, I bet you're interested in this. So, with news stuff. And so I'll see headlines, but I haven't. But there is an app on the Android store. It wasn't from Google. It was Beeper or something. and they were figuring out a way to like relay
yes.
messages.
Beeper.
So, but you had to have an iOS device, so you had to have like a Mac that your computer.
Oh, that you're
that your phone-
relaying through.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be anything that would like. It seemed silly to prevent because you had to be kind of a loser to set it up. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I feel like the group of people who are desperate enough to, or like desperate for iMessage, but tech savvy enough to set up doing iMessage through their Android stuff, like that doesn't exist. Like
Yeah, just get an iPhone or chill out. Like,
yeah,
just
I mean, like
don't
those people
participate.
like prefer Android, and like they prefer like the like PCs and stuff, like, and they're not gonna want to do, like, they don't want it iMessage. They think that's stupid, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. So I guess about the actual development is that Apple is going to do RCS. So I think they will actually implement it so that you can blue
do native
message
iMessage on Android.
potentially. I don't know, but it might not be green anymore. I think is the big.
Gotcha. Sure, I'm probably conflating RCS and iMessage and whatever. The so like you use Android. As a business team, we cover. I just
We
realized
made an
I
intentional
just did
decision.
a Trump move, right? This was
Yeah.
very, but we cover all quadrants, or all, cover all our bases.
Mm-hmm.
Like we're a cross-platform operation over here.
And we do this quarterly too. So you're gonna rotate over to Windows Phone pretty soon here, and I'll be stepping into the
I've been dailying my Windows phone.
daily driving.
Guy who's about to purposefully drift into oncoming traffic. I've been
in his
dailying.
Tesla.
Yeah. What was I gonna say? Oh, but yeah, messaging apps in general are. I'm giving a big old thumbs down react for anybody. Come on, do it. All right, never mind. But I'm trying to. Whatever. All right, but messaging apps in general, they're garbage. They're not good. Or like, what do you use?
It's so funny. You're like just not talking to anyone fun. You're like they're just not.
No one's saying anything funny.
No one will talk to me.
No one's being nice
No one
to me.
talks to me at all. They all
The
say
jokes
I
they
need
send
to.
suck. Yeah.
I've been asked several times to not. Some people sending
These
down
low quality conversations from low quality human beings. Apple, fix.
I use just like messages and WhatsApp.
Yeah.
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 And
Yeah.
Google Chat, I guess.
It's weird how distributed it still is, or I don't know. Maybe that's good. Maybe it's bad. I'm using Signal, which actually pretty good. But yeah, Signal, iMessage, which is also good. Those are probably the two good ones. But then like Gmail, I'm using Gmail to chat, with you and our family. We got like chat going on Gmail, which seems crazy, but like I don't know. I guess it works.
It's probably
yeah, and
just because
WhatsApp.
of me, because I'm on. You guys would happily be over on iMessage, probably.
Well, no, Zoe's on Android too.
Oh, that's right.
So we use Gmail. Like using Gmail to chat with my partner seems crazy, but that's got the kind of business mindset that you have to be. It's like get a you have a Teams,
I have an email, and
a
you
Teams
say
channel.
things like see my thread above. I already answered that question.
per my previous message. Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it seems like messaging apps are in a bad way. Like I guess we were on Facebook Messenger for a long time, but then like people kind of drop off of Facebook, and that's not a thing. Like on not on TikTok, Instagram DMs. I have like I'm sure this is the case for some people, but like, do you have like multiple streams going with the same person across different platforms?
Yeah.
Like one-on-one DMs and not in a way that's like, oh, when I see a funny Instagram reel, I'll send it to you on Instagram, but mostly our conversation takes place over iMessage. No, it's like it could just switch back and forth like all the
Yeah.
time. Which I don't know. And I don't. I guess I don't. It's fine, but it seems like you would be in one spot to talk. Well, enough shit shooting, Atticus. Our clients are eager. They've been champing at the bit. They don't want to hear about your iMessage stories. This is something I'm very excited to share with folks here. Let's see. How do I get my? Oh boy, which screen? I got two screens pulled up. I don't know if I want to share which side I want to put my stuff on.
One of them is really embarrassing and includes financial records, and one of them is for the podcast.
My most embarrassing financial records. Yeah.
Well, I meant them
right.
as separate, but
Yeah. All right. I'm gonna try to share my screen. Well, let me first ask you a question.
Okay.
Do you know about Tunnel Girl?
No. Oh,
All right.
yes.
You do know about Tunnel Girl.
I have, yes.
Excellent. So
I've not. Is that how people are referring to her?
there was an NBC article shared where or like written up and she's interviewed and they seem to refer to her as Tunnel Girl.
Okay.
Or by her TikTok username, Engineer Everything.
Okay.
So this is a TikTok account of would you say her name is Kala, Kala. But she's known as Tunnel Girl because, well, let me just play this video, this TikTok.
It's just been over a year since I started building my underground tunnel system. This is a 1-year recap. In August of 22, I cut an opening off the side of the sub-basement and started to carve into the solid rock.
I feel like everyone watching was just assuming she thought this through, you know? Like, they assumed this was on the up and up.
Yes. We will.
No one would do this without looking into regulatory.
Right. We'll get to all that. I just want people to sit back and let this wash over you.
Look, hashtag engineering, hashtag Minecraft.
Yes. Hashtag secret tunnel. But I just want people to let this wash over you and like. I want you to keep track of how you feel when you watch this and listen to this.
As the entrance tunnel stretched longer and deeper, I bought an electric yard cart and converted it into a minecart. I used hundreds of concrete blocks and yards of hand-mixed concrete for the 30-foot entrance tunnel. As it got deeper underground, I ran into a lot of groundwater and a spring which made work harder and required constant pumping. Eventually, I set up a sump basin and a pump which is keeping the system dry. Set up a blower and air duct for ventilation. The main chamber is 22 feet below ground, and I set up rebar lattice work and a steel form to pour concrete with a trailer pump. One of the forms failed and the concrete bulge needed to be removed, which is affectionately called the elephant's foot. There is still a lot of work left to do, but
A lot of work left to do. What are you doing?
Yeah. So my first observation here is exactly along these lines. Amazing initiative. I don't have the discipline to accomplish the things that I absolutely have to do, let alone spend the time, effort, and money. On like this kind of bullshit. So like there's the other day it was snowing here in town, and I was overcome with the spirit of winter whimsy, and I was out in the backyard with the dogs, and I noticed that the snow was perfectly packable, like right where you want it if you were gonna have a snowball fight. So I just started rolling up a big ball of snow and doing that classic activity where you roll the snowball and it gets bigger, putting that to the test. Out there in the field doing research. And eventually it got so big that it was difficult to push. And I was thinking to myself, I was getting annoyed. I was like frustrated. I was like sweaty in the backyard, and I was like, God damn it, this is going to take forever. And then that observation triggered a secondary observation, which was I don't have to do this, so I'm going to stop. The second that
Stop
this is,
right now.
yeah, isn't fun. And so I stopped. She doesn't have to do any of this. So like all this work,
Yeah.
like for building the tunnel. And my next observation that I had about Tunnel Girl here is one that you shared too. There's no way that you can just do this, right? So
I remember coming across this semi-organically before controversy hit, and just like kind of having both reactions. And I feel kind of silly now but like kind of like looking at it and going like, well, you wouldn't do this unless you were out in the middle of nowhere and you were a sovereign citizen or something bizarre. Like you had some weird.
You knew what you were doing. Like by the fact that she's doing it, like you just kind of assume it's.
Oh,
I don't know. I guess
you wouldn't do this if you didn't invent
all the
mining
boxes
or
are
something.
checked. Like
Yeah.
because you're doing it. Yeah. I
Yeah,
had the same reaction.
But also thinking, looking at that rhubarb,
yeah, the rebar.
sorry, like tunnel thing, and just knowing that was gonna kill her.
We had a form fail. Like ooh.
Yeah.
But like there's something about, well, okay, we'll get into it a little bit, but like by her delivery of the lines and everything, like it's very soothing, and it's very it is confidence inspiring the way that she's doing this. So let's go to listeners may be asking yourselves, what is she doing? Like, what is going on here? Let's go to the first video in the series to learn straight from her.
I am about to embark on a new and complex project. I'm planning to construct a storm shelter off the side of my basement. It's going to take a very long time, a lot of engineering, and a lot of planning and work to make it happen, and I will be posting updates. The shelter itself will be cut into this wall here. I will need to measure out the dimensions of the door and start cutting through the reinforced concrete blocks. This is off the side of my bunker home office.
What?
No, you heard that right. We're, for people just listening,
What's up?
it's a home office bunker.
Yeah.
That's what it is.
She's got the setup.
She's got screens
I will
for
say,
days.
yeah. I was talking about my setup, about my multiple screens. She's got 5 screens. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 screens set up. She's got the RGB keyboard, and crucially, she's got the money out on the desk. She's got a $1 bill up on top of the printer there.
And we're talking concrete walls. We're talking bunker.
Yeah.
We're talking this is where
ECR
Osama
mindset.
bin Laden was hiding.
But it continues.
I will have to move all my equipment upstairs for at least a few weeks while this project is starting. Then I'm going to need to build a wooden ramp, to go up to that window behind the green screen.
What's up?
What are you doing in your bunker?
You got a green screen in your bunker, Tunnel Girl. But I mean, look, okay. I think I'm ultimately.
You don't have to explain everything about their life every time they show anything. I get that. Yeah.
I'm ultimately, I think, on her side at the end of the day here. Despite it all. And also, I did have to spend a couple minutes moving all of my like camera equipment and lighting and stuff like out of the background of my
your
thing
bunker.
here. So I'm not really one to talk here, but I'm just so curious about like her whole thing. Like what are you using what's going on with the green screen? I just like want to know more. Like the tunnel seems to be. What is
the least
what is all?
interesting
Yeah,
thing.
like what's up?
At the other side of the window, which is about 14 feet below ground, we will need to construct a crane and a bucket to get all of the rubble out of here and to put it into a
I
trailer
guess.
or truck. This project is going to be enormously
That's what you were
expensive
doing.
and have zero return on investment. It's something that I wanted to do, and it should be fun.
Yeah, yeah,
It's gonna make the house impossible to sell.
yeah.
It's gonna ruin me financially.
I mean, God forbid people have hobbies, I guess. But like this is we talked about last week. Redditors letting a niche interest ruin their lives and marriages and relationships.
ruin their
things like that.
relationships.
I think Engineer Everything here takes this to a whole other level.
She's allowing it to ruin the whole like geological.
Yeah.
Like-
So you meant yeah. Like it's like I'm not ruining just my own
Substrate.
life. Like I'm potentially ending my own life by you know.
causing a landslide through the entire neighborhood.
And yeah, like you see in other videos that she posts, like she lives in like it's a neighborhood. It's not in the middle of nowhere.
Suburb.
Yeah. There's like houses nearby. And I'm realizing now, like I'm watching my hand gestures and I'm just doing Trump. But
Yeah,
I think
I
it's the
wanted to
shoulder
take a
pad.
screenshot.
I think like I don't usually
They
do
make
this,
you
but
move
I
out
think
that
that's what
way.
makes it. I think it's the shoulder pads in the jacket.
Yeah.
Anyway, but okay. She's such a dense text. Genuine question. What do you think is going on here?
I don't know. I think maybe someone who's just really committed to something they shouldn't have been
Yeah.
committed to. I
Yeah.
don't know. Letting it get away from them. They're probably very smart and good at figuring things out, and the weirdness of the project. I don't know. Does TikTok force you to do weird projects just to follow views?
Yeah,
or something? Was she already getting views to start that?
I've had similar trains of thought, and I'm earnestly trying to understand her here, and like I guess so information here that like we haven't mentioned. If you're not familiar with the project, Atticus mentioned like a controversy here, and I'm not really honestly going to get into the controversy because it seems like there's a lot of like I don't know. I'm not trying to do like drama reporting or anything. It does seem to be the case that she doesn't have all she seems like she's like one of these like very competent individuals, but like, and her handle is Engineer Everything, but she's like a software engineer, right? Like she's like IT, and the NBC article has her like reporting that like her degree is in like finance stuff. So like money moves, respect to you. Third mic on the podcast is open at any time for you with that kind of knowledge.
Well, we don't want anyone on the podcast who says this isn't going to have any financial returns, but I'm going to do it anyway.
Wrong. You're making a mistake. But yeah, I guess to put it simply, with Tunnel Girl, there's a lot going on underneath the surface. I'm not quite able to get a handle on her whole vibe. I don't know if her like voice and outfits are an affect, but it seems like they could be. Although like I'm going back to like early videos that she posted, and also like videos she posted on her YouTube, like separate from this, and it seems like that is just how she is. Like she like her outfits that she wears, they're like it's like old lady clothes. And she's not an old lady. And I don't know, whatever. She looks great. I don't mean to say like I'm not dumping on your outfits or anything. It's like I don't know, like vintage or something kind of thing. But she does like the heavy construction work.
Can you imagine wearing something silly?
Yeah, like she's doing heavy construction work, like in like an old lady like pearl necklace kind of thing, and like fancy like gloves and jacket stuff. I don't know. She face tunes herself to like all get out, like on the front facing camera. I don't know if she's like trying to obscure her identity with that. I don't think it like really works that way, but anyway, I've been thinking nonstop about this woman, and she did post a video called Shut Down or something like that.
Which it was like a sketch.
She did a reenactment, yeah, and I'm not gonna play it because I don't know, there's not like a lot of use for it, but it is strange. You do notice that she does drive a Tesla. That is something that you find out during this, which like, all right, it's kind of coming together. But yeah,
the confidence, the tech bro confidence. Perhaps?
She says that she hired voice actors to reenact the city officials' words that came by, which I guess is the right thing to do. Like, you don't want to like dox the city workers or something, but like it's very strange. Like TikTok notoriety is getting away from you or something. I don't know, but according to her, the city has given her an immediate stop work order until she gets the proper permit and approvals. And
yeah, so that she should back up and running within a. Oh, we should check now to see if she's got those permits to dig a hole to Mars.
right. Which she phrases in a like a, well, I just need to get the proper permits and approvals and then we'll be back up. And it kind of seems like actually it's like, no, you can't do this. Stop this. Like you're not allowed to do this.
She's like, oh, because I don't have a permit. And they're like,
I guess technically yes.
Yes.
But like there's the reasons like we won't give you a permit. Like you're digging underneath your house.
You're fracking.
She's referred to it as a suburban mining operation, which like I'm like so sure
that's not gonna look good.
Like
in the
zone,
lawsuits.
there's no way your shit's zoned for mining. It's suburbs.
Don't her neighbors surely have like cause for property damage? Like, no one's gonna buy a house in her neighborhood. I feel like that's her fault.
How would you feel if this was your neighbor? If like you were looking,
I'd feel pretty bad. Isn't that? Am I crazy, or is that like dangerous for the neighborhood?
Well, listen, she knows. She apparently knows way more about this stuff than I do. Because I wouldn't know about. I guess I don't know. I would know not to do this though. So I've got that going.
Call
for me.
Before you dig. Did she call before she did?
No. Like you just kind of assume she did, but yeah, does she know what's on the other side of the fucking wall? Like, like is she gonna? There's so many.
She's gonna hit dead bodies pretty soon.
And did she put them there? Who knows? But God, yeah. Sorry, there's just so many things going on with this. Yeah, I don't know. I guess if she was my neighbor, I suppose I would be a NIMBY, dude. You know about NIMBYs, right? Not in my backyard.
Not in my backyard.
I'm a NIMBY, not under my backyard. Could you quit digging your dang hole back there? Like, she's like overtime outfitted. Like she does this all the time. Like she must spend every day doing this, and she hauls away like thousands of pounds of like rock.
Can you imagine
and
just
dirt
like
all the time?
Honey, come to the window. Come to the window. She got another dump truck full of rubble.
She's always doing. It's got to be loud as fuck, like constantly.
Oh my God.
And she just be doing it. It's crazy. And okay, so I'm pulling from this NBC article. Despite what her TikTok username suggests, Kala does not have a formal background in engineering. She said she studied business and finance in school and has spent most of her professional life working in information technology, but that her passions lie in civil and mechanical engineering. She has done most of the tunnel work herself, occasionally tapping friends to assist. Quote, "It doesn't take me much to pick up a skill," Kala said. "I can often learn skills just by doing it with minimal instruction." End quote. And
I hate this personality. Just separately.
yeah.
She seems fine besides this, but just that quote I don't like. I don't care for that quote.
Yeah, I don't doubt her.
No, and that's what makes it more annoying.
Yeah, but I don't think like that's like the problem. I think like she probably is like a very quick learner, and she's like, it probably makes perfect sense to her to like, how do you build a house? And like you just first you put the foundation down, and then you do this, and then like it just makes sense. She just like learns it easily, that kind of thing. But they're like,
is this a Grover House situation though?
Yes, this obviously evokes Grover House, and I think this is the second coming of Grover House, and and even so, but I do think that like Grover's victims were just himself and his family. Whereas Kala might take out the whole neighborhood. But I think I'm ultimately more on Kala's side than Grover's, purely based on vibes and like the way that like how
because he's an asshole.
Yeah, like how
isn't he?
combative
Doesn't he jump
Grover
on there
was
and
in
just
the comments.
you say to tell people that it's gonna be fine.
And like if only TikTok existed when Grover was putting together his shit, that would have been legendary.
Oh my
But, like-
god! You could see him live streaming.
Yeah.
It's just
But like, yeah, all Kala has to do is just like put like calming piano music under it and like speak in that voice, and I'm like,
yeah.
if she could do anything, I don't care. Like, I don't know, like whatever, dig into the fucking water table, whatever, spray it all over the lawn. Who cares? And so like I don't know. Even though I should be against her, and I am, I guess. Like, she should probably stop, and people shouldn't do what she's doing. I love how like the title, giving up the title engineer, has emboldened people to think they can do things. Like she's a software engineer, and she's just like, I don't know, technically engineer stuff, so that means I can like drive a train now, right? Or like all these other things.
No.
Have you seen people with the job title like sales engineer?
Yes. I have one that calls me. Sweetwater. They're all sales engineers.
That's where I saw it. So sick. Do you think?
And they always
Yeah.
call
Do you
me.
think Andrew from Sweetwater like goes home and he's like, "Yeah, I'm a fucking engineer." Do you think he tells people he's an engineer? And do you think that like you start?
Yeah, and then they're like,
telling
what kind?
themselves-
And he's like, sales.
Ooh, I could freaking dig a really big hole, or put something together. I'm an engineer.
Yeah.
I'm gonna start calling myself like a story engineer. I'm a podcast engineer. I'm like, I do all this stuff, and I don't know. I think the guys in the blue cap and the overalls shoveling coal on locomotives are probably upset about engineer inflation and like engineer stolen valor. Like, give it back to
I
the McCoys.
maybe I need to be telling people that I'm a manager.
You're a solutions engineer.
Okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, I don't know. So yeah, I guess that basically covers everything that I wanted to about her. Like, yeah, the Grover House comparisons are many, and I'm super curious.
We maybe need to do an episode on
Yeah.
Grover House.
We could just
special.
like there's a really good like just Reddit summary of it that we could just read through sometime. It's really
That'd
good.
be great.
But I'm very curious what happens with her project going forward. I hope it doesn't ruin her life. Like, I mean, first of all, I hope she doesn't fucking die from this or like injure anybody else. I also don't want people to like go after her or anything for this. It seems like maybe that's kind of what happened. Like people figured out where she was and reported it to the city, which like that's what some people online were claiming. Like I doubt that. I bet it's just her neighbors, right? Like it's got to be just like the people who seeing the suburban mining operation saying, "Hey, there's a suburban mining operation."
That doesn't look right.
But if people are, that's another thing. This like doxing people and like swatting and all this stuff, like, let alone it being like really horrible to do, ethically. How do you have the energy to do that? Like, to ruin somebody's life like that? Like,
I do think with this though, like doxing bad, swatting bad. Obviously, I'm anti, but calling city officials
to check up
about this situation.
That's why I think it's a.
I think it's probably
that's why
good.
I think it's a neighbor, on in this situation. But yeah, don't chase her down. It seems like the city knows about her now, so here we go. And I, for one, endorse her only for this. Knock yourself out. Don't collapse the tunnel. So this concludes my brief. This is something that I think that our clients need to know about, and to just keep in mind to perform well in the market.
I have a person that I think we need to introduce to our clients and just kind of run down on this figure that has captured my attention recently. I'm speaking, of course, of Tim Pool, who I think
This motherfucker
is a really funny combination of like what seems to be probably the type that you went to high school with, and who was he was smart, probably did well in most classes, but
you think Tim Pool is smart? Is that what you're saying?
I think that he has quite the identity about being smart, and like that I think he probably was fine.
Okay,
I
don't know anything about this dude.
There was no
I only know
growth.
stuff that you like send to me.
So he's not smart, but he has the air of someone, and it's always funny whenever there's like math that he has to do, he'll do it and try to do it, and then like maybe do it wrong, and then for like the next 5 minutes he returns to it and be like, I think it'd actually be just coming back to the math problem and explaining why it's normal that he got it wrong, or he's got quite a chip on his shoulder about academics and stuff like that something that he's making up for. He's also, I feel like, noticed well, maybe I could do a little history lesson on Tim Pool.
Yeah,
would that be helpful? So he started, I think, at Vice News, and
oh really?
While they were like cool, that they were doing like kind of pioneering like the documentaries on YouTube, and I don't know how much he did at Vice News, but I knew he was there for a while.
We're gonna put a beanie on a
And,
man for 36 years to see what happens.
Yes, I think that project is still being played out. But he covered Occupy Wall Street, and that's where he got famous, supposedly. And then
Not as a commentator, presumably, right?
on the street, on the street coverage, and then I think started doing less and less as his channel built up, and so now he does a live stream podcast every day of the week, and then he has this other channel where he rants at the camera by himself.
That's a really good ass
That's where
format.
the true genius comes out. Yeah, but he's definitely captured by the Trump audience. So there's just a lot of he's
So
just
he's
such a funny
so
person.
you haven't
And
said
I
it
have-
yet, but my understanding he's like a right wing commentator, right? Yeah.
Yes. But he has a big identity about being centrist and left leaning, technically. And confusion when people are like, yeah, but you're like pro-Trump and everyone on your podcast is like, you have Matt Gaetz on all the time, you know? Like, what are you talking about?
Getting into like, I feel like this is it's the dumbest shit. The like never-ending the witches who invented like the like left to right spectrum of like, and then everybody argues about where you are on it or like where anything else is like the biggest waste of time in history.
Did you see that episode of Donnie Darko?
Yes.
When they're
yeah.
Did I say episode? That scene.
Everything exists on a spectrum. From
not everything's on a spectrum of
yes.
love to fear. It's like, no, it's not. You're just wrong about this and right about that.
Yeah, and like how meaningless it is to be like, I'm technically left leaning. Like, what the heck is that supposed to mean? Stop that. Knock that off. What do you think's under his fucking hat?
He's just bald. You know?
Yeah. Okay. Is
and like
to me, if you take it off his hat, he becomes that Onion picture, like the worst person in the world. Like made a good point, or like whatever that.
Yes. So, I got a video that I think just to introduce the personality here, and I apologize in advance for this situation, but I think it's good here. So you ready?
Yeah.
So this is a news story he's covering about Mark Zuckerberg building a like enormous multi-billion-dollar compound. Oh no, it's not multi-billion. 212 million.
Mark Zuckerberg is turning an idyllic corner of Hawaii into a Bond villain compound where his family can see
Why is he
out
talking
the
like
apocalypse.
a Bond villain?
The way he talks
few seconds
fascinates me. There's a lot of like Trump inflections, but like
Who would
I
do
feel
something
like what
like
it is
that?
is that he
Why would you?
right silliness, but there's just a lot of like weird like he's obviously listening to other radio presenters, and I feel like trying to do, but it's just so like bad.
And he's reading a Daily Mail article. Looks like.
Yes, Daily Mail is where he goes to the
Great.
most. He's now playing music from
His fucking face. What?
I love this song. So how many of you get the reference? I
Watch
assume
how well
many
he
of you
explains
do.
a video game reference that he's real proud. Look at how smug he was for having made it too.
If you're around the same age as me. But for those that don't, because we don't want to leave you out of the joke, this is the song from the opening of Fallout 3. Man, Fallout 3, as
All
far
right,
as
pause.
video games go, is a masterpiece. Starts with
This is his like 2023
Yeah.
hot take.
And I was like, when he played that, I go into, I was threatened there for a little bit because like I don't get the reference. Like, is this some like famous
Yeah.
movie?
and he brought you
Yeah. Or like he's gonna pull out like a more cultured reference. Like, no, okay, he's talking about a fucking dumbass video game.
in. Yeah, I thought that's like a famous like artist or
great,
something.
yeah.
Like, this was the first song ever recorded or something.
Right.
Nope.
Yeah. Like, oh no, this is gonna be like from Casablanca, and I need to like pretend I've seen that. Like, yeah, of course, Tim. Yeah. Like, no, it's like, okay, good. It's fucking Fallout. Cool. Oh, is the video game about a bunker? Is that the joke?
us getting the reference with like meme of just like being very sophisticated. Yep.
radio turning on. This song, I Don't Want to Set the World on Fire, starts playing.
Not
and
a
as
fan.
the camera slowly pans out, you get to see very lightly, gradually, and then suddenly.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Post-apocalyptic
Did you like that?
Washington, D.C.
Slowly.
Yeah. Okay. So okay, here's Atticus. I'm sorry. I'm doing this. I can't stop it. I'm just Trump now. But
Yeah.
Atticus sends me Tim Pool videos all the time, and I never watch them because I don't want my YouTube algorithm to be affected by it. This is the first time I'm like seeing anything from him, and I'm so mad at him. Like I'm turning into like high school bully mode on this guy.
Yeah.
Like
No, he deserves it.
like shut the fuck up, dude.
He's such a mean person, too.
Man.
Mark Zuckerberg gets it, but it's not just him. We know that many ultra rich have been building apocalypse bunkers, but now the big news is that Mark Zuckerberg is spending 212 million pounds on an emergency compound with blast doors on the island of Kauai. Is that how you pronounce it? Kauai? 10 miles from the home of former 007 Pierce Brosnan. You know, I wouldn't go for the Bond villain complex narrative, because we're
All right,
talking
just
about
stop it.
post-apocalyptic. But they're trying
They get to
argue
do
that,
whatever
look,
they
James
want.
Bond-
They get to write whatever they want, dude.
Just the way he talks.
I don't.
Like I can't.
It's so infuriating.
Yeah.
Don't you get like annoying high school nerd?
Yes.
Like
I can't even like. I can't say like anything like more creative than just like, shut the fuck up. You're being annoying. I don't know. Like,
Yeah.
you need to have a better like regulation on yourself. Like you can't be doing this.
you can't be doing this. I'm sorry. We gotta watch more though. I'm sorry.
Here, and now Mark Zuckerberg's building a Bond villain compound. It's not a Bond villain compound. It's just a very wealthy
It's
guy
not a Bond villain
who's
compound
spending
because
nearly-
he's not in James Bond. You're
Wait,
right.
is
It's
he?
not a.
Is he defending Zuckerberg in this?
Yes. Yeah.
Oh,
He loves
A
everyone
quarter of
who
a
has
mil-
money. He's always sucking.
I
around.
forgot that this is how this works. Is that you are you lick boots over there?
Yeah. Oh my god.
okay.
And there's a big identity about not doing it, but you can. He's always subtly like, they deserve their money.
Wait, so he's really his real thing here is not, he's not just like, I thought he was just sort of like reading a news article and sort of like, this is crazy.
No.
No, what he's doing
thinks-
is saying like, where the Daily Mail has gone wrong is that they've used a James Bond comparison rather than a Fallout 3 comparison.
Yes. Yes, exactly. That's his political. He ends almost every segment now with like, you need to buy food, like Patriot Pack or whatever the thing is, where you can buy a 6-month supply of food, like
In
emergency
like
food.
buckets and stuff.
Yeah, and he's like this Civil War, like he's always predicting civil war in America, and that you need to buy food and gold and hunker down. So
He's one of these.
This is like
one of these fellas that is doing good work for the American psyche out there.
Yes.
Okay.
$1 billion because fears about what's to come.
What's to come
In
in
the
the
years
years ahead?
I've long thought about emergency bunkers, and truth be told, my friends, we have our emergency preparations. Ain't nothing like this. But, our friends over at Fortitude Ranch, I invested in it, and we had them on the show a couple times. Several times, I think 3 or 4 actually, different times.
how
Fortitude
many
Ranch
times?
has
Fuck
been
you
on,
talking
Timcast
about?
IRL,
Shut
and
the
they
fuck up, dude.
do disaster preparedness, but
I'm a practical guy.
I'm a practical guy. So the reason why I invested and the reason why I thought Fortitude Ranch was cool is because practically
Cool,
speaking,
dude.
it's like a dude's retreat.
Okay.
If you're
Okay.
a man's man, kind of manly camping kind of guy, country guy,
That
that
we used to be a country. We used to have Dudes Rock. Now we used to have Dudes Ranch and Dudes Rock. Now we have Dudes Retreat. What's going on here?
Right.
I thought this was Dudes Advance. How about
don't
Dudes
know.
Charge?
I don't know how much this will come across, and I don't know if you believe
great.
me,
Is
but
that a
do
fucking
you see this
samurai
object
sword?
right here? That is a katana,
Great.
and it's crossed with like a gun, I think, and a guitar behind him. Hold on.
And Fortitude Ranch is where you go to sit in the lodge, watch movies, chop some wood. You know, there's chickens, and you go hike.
Sounds bad,
It's
dude.
just an outdoors adventure kind of thing.
Sounds like
But,
not something that you would need to like
it does
invest in.
serve
No,
I don't know.
no.
It's just like
bunker.
there's some
Should the
chickens and
apocalypse
wood.
occur. But here's what's going on with Mark Zuckerberg.
Someone is
They say-
taking your money.
While
I don't know.
Here's
I don't know like what's wrong with him, but he's got a lot of like ticks, and I'm surprised he didn't do it with that one because whenever he talks about chickens, he has chickens, and he has like part of the thing. He's got a live stream of his chicken coop that people watch, and he's like, whenever he talks about chickens, he goes, "Chickens are based AF." Like Trump, he does like a Trump voice and goes "based AF" every time he talks about chickens.
the fuck is that about? What is that? This freak. I hate this fucking guy. We've both
Darth
done
Goldeneye, blah, blah,
bunker
blah, content.
topics this
We
week
did.
on accident. This sucks.
Let me see. I think there's.
There seems to be a big spike coming up
Yeah.
when we play.
As we seen cycling,
What's
blah
that?
blah blah. There's nothing subtle about Silicon Valley billionaires' efforts to turn 1,400 acres of
Unspoilt
unspoilt coast
Unspoilt
into a
coast.
home where he and their family can sit out the apocalypse. In doing so, critics say he has ridden roughshod over ancient indigenous property rights. And a
Okay,
dope
the
man
way
who's
he
made
says
up-
that
criticize-
means that
criticize the guy. I get it.
sounds like he doesn't care that
In
much.
choosing this particular
Right. Yeah.
I'm getting the vibe you don't care that much about that, Tim.
Right. He's like, oh, I don't really care about that part.
spectacularly beautiful north coast of Kauai, the oldest, least developed, and most. It's no surprise the coast has been used in dozens of films. Blah 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 blah.
We
blah.
get it, man.
At the center are two mansions
So it's
with a total
it's
floor
huge.
area.
It's huge. That's the
Another
thing.
building just via a ladder. The about this
Okay, here's where I want.
military drones.
Here's what I
the
wanted.
video game Horizon cameras and many interior doors operated by keypad. Well, Mark, you do your thing. I've thought about this. I recommend the video game Horizon Zero Dawn.
He's talking to Mark.
They're
now.
like,
He's talking straight to Mark.
oh my god. Okay. I'm
Do you like
getting I'm getting quite the picture of this. We're like, gosh, I guess you ever get yourself into like a conversation with like a group of people who are all like, I don't know, they're all cultured, like, oh, have you heard this album? You heard this album? Like deeper and deeper cuts. Like, oh, have you read this book, that book, deeper cuts, whatever. And like, it's this sort of like I don't know, this demonstration of like, yeah, how cultured you might
Yeah,
be.
yeah.
And,
His references are.
but he's doing it for this echo this definitely has echoes of this obscure Napoleonic battle from hundreds of years ago. If I may say, does history not repeat itself? And everyone titters in the New York Times like convention.
But he's like,
audience,
Mr. Zuckerberg.
but he's like, Fallout 3 much?
May I make a
Horizon
recommendation,
Zero
Mr.
Dawn much?
Zuckerberg?
This sort of thing smacks of the Big Bang Theory. Like, okay.
This is like when Michael told Dwight.
Yeah. It's two babies talking like it's red.
It's a red truck. It's all red.
I remember when I was getting into red. Now I'm onto blue myself.
Hey, you know what? It really reminds me. You're so right. It reminds me of me as a little kid. I remember so embarrassing being picked up by not mom one day from school,
By
like
Tim
one of her
Pool?
friends.
Because I think he's got a problem with some of that.
And I remember trying to like sound adult, like sound smart, and sitting in the back seat, stretched out, saying something like, "So is this a motor vehicle?"
That's so sick, though. That's
like-
so sick.
I've heard of these. It's a motor vehicle
Ah, yes.
propelled by an engine.
I've been to the department. Have you been to the department?
I must make another stop. Okay.
If you don't play it, just read or watch a video about the lore. and it's masterfully written. Masterfully. A little woke in the
Little
later
woke.
second game, Forbidden West. But
Very, very.
Don't you
ancillary.
guys
this
love
game
the
is
fucking
that-
West? Don't you think
know-
that the West is forbidden now or something? Like, what's the problem with you? Like, it's
Too
the
woke.
high. It's the high. Apparently, it's the best selling game for Sony of all time.
It's too woke.
Is Horizon Zero Dawn. So, let's check this game out.
of this game.
Military manufacturer, weapons manufacturer, produces autonomous military drones with weapons.
This is a
but they have
man
the ability
commentating
to
on the
self-replicate. Now, it's not magical
Daily
stuff, like
News.
split or anything. No, it's just there's very large ones that operate as factories, and the drones collect resources.
Don't tell me this.
And use it to
I
manufacture
don't.
more
I
drones.
don't care.
The science, or I should say fantasy magic in the game, is that these drones have the ability to convert biomass into fuel. It's not completely science fiction, but it's fairly science fiction because in the game, they just like fire a beam at a tree and all the leaves turn to red mush and then get sucked up. Yeah, okay, well, that's a little
What are you
out there.
talking about?
But the idea
What?
that they could harvest biomass and then ferment it into various
Plausible.
fuels they can use, plausible. You would need something that can manipulate, fine-tune, and blah, blah, blah.
Okay, can you
get the
pause?
point. Making chips is a lot harder.
Tim,
but
I
in the
don't
game,
think I do get the point.
drones-
I think you're ostensibly supposed to be offering some sort of commentary about the thing you're talking about, which, like, it seems to be that whether the video title is. Like, aren't you supposed to be talking about like the bunkers here?
Yeah. This is all just because he likes. He's saying, you know what? This reminds me of Fallout 3, which reminds me of this other game, which I think you should be preparing more for that game than that game. And Mark Zuckerberg's like, I'm not preparing for either game. You know.
Yeah, I want. Is he? Oh, was he saying that? All right, he started to get into like why that video game was woke, and was he saying it was woke because they're turning the leaves into mush?
I don't think so. I don't think that was. I don't think that was the. I got one more video that I'll skip a little bit through. Okay.
Okay, I want some episode. I would like you to investigate what this current state of woke video game commentary is.
Okay. It'll probably be mostly Tim Pool. Back at Tim Pool Part 2. No. So recently, Tim Pool has started a music endeavor, which his podcast is called Timcast. So he's opted to call his band Timcast. So that's cool, right?
What?
Yeah.
Why? Sorry.
Because he has a podcast.
Everything this motherfucker
I know,
does.
So the Daily Wire have like a fun little parody band called Smokey Mike and the God King. And so Tim,
What?
so
Wait, so the Daily Wire is parodying him?
no, they're like they have a band, their own unrelated band that's like supposed to be like a 60s style, like look how funny like
What
it doesn't
is going on?
it's
I would
fully
love-
culture war stuff that like no one else is paying attention to.
Yeah, to be on the receiving end of like just like the Coke money that funds
That you just
like,
get
these,
to do whatever.
these dumb fucking projects all the time. That's like, I can't wait for like. Do you think like the Koch brothers are gonna wake up sometime and like check in like okay, so we've set aside these billions of dollars to fund like the media, like I don't know the like to push the Overton window, like in these ways, like culturally, these sort of things, and they're gonna check in on like what their investment is, and they're gonna see some shit like this, and they're like, the fuck are you
doing?
people doing?
Yeah, definitely.
We're supposed to, like, we're causing, like, we only get like 2 or 3 like mass shootings a year because of like your number. You need to get those numbers up. What the fuck you do? You're over here dicking around talking about Fallout.
Yeah, what are you
like? Could you fucking people focus up and talk about woke more?
Right.
What the hell is going on?
So this has been such a funny thing he's rolled out because he's really insecure about being on the outside and like the music industry not accepting him. So he's like really promoted this really hard to the point where he's like, even if you don't like my music, I want you to buy the song because it'll, you know, legitimize right-wing culture war media. And if you buy the song, then I'll give you 30% off my coffee that you can also buy from me.
Jesus.
So,
meanwhile, the biggest artist in the world is like, you know, some like, I don't know, South American artist that like he just blows up on TikTok kind of thing. It's like, obviously, like, dude, nobody's paying attention to you.
So this is his cover of a Daily Wire song that I'll just skip through because it's just.
Could you guys quit jacking each other off? This
frame
is
by
insane.
frame, so embarrassing. This isn't a political song, but let's.
Well, I'm glad they're keeping all
Right,
this
yeah.
kind of music. I'll give them that.
It's just him and his friend in a car.
Is this earnest?
No.
Or is this supposed
I
to be
think
a
it's
joke?
partially
This is-
a joke. But here's Tim in the passenger side.
Okay, so it's one of those like it's not quite earnest. It's a joke, but it's not like it's not clear what the joke
Right,
might
I feel
be. It's so the point. It's the biggest waste of time ever put to SD
Yes,
card.
I think also it's the like we'll throw in enough things that are obviously a joke that like he gets to make synth pop and be like he gets to spend time in the studio making like synth pop. You know what I mean? That like
Yeah.
it's funny. I made myself look silly, so like I'm allowed to take myself seriously. I don't know, like.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it's plausible deniability. Like, yeah, he could have this ironic detachment, but not like be saying
Yeah.
anything with his. Yeah,
It's just
it's not like too over. It's not like over the top enough to be like what the joke is or anything. Yeah, this is a not smart, not funny dude. Yeah. All right.
yeah. So definitely earnestly telling his audience, even if you don't like the song, still buy it and you'll own the libs. And then also saying shit like, because I'm a capitalist, I'm making money, but I'm a capitalist, and actually that's good. Like I'm not taking advantage of you guys. I'm just a capitalist. Like
Okay.
I feel
Thank
not
you.
taken advantage of right now. Thank you.
I think this is the perfect perfect thing to end on, because this is something that I think we can all get behind. Is Thomas from the Pendejo Time podcast's take on a Tim Pool song. Could you believe that Twitter is not playing the video very
typically
well?
It works perfectly every time.
Well, I suppose we'll just listen to the song on our way out. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back in 2 weeks with another episode of Executive Client Research. Bye-bye.
Just finished 8th grade, grab yourself a beanbag. Drink a big soda tonight. We're headed to the kickback. And everybody's feeling alright. Just finished 8th grade. Nobody knows this guy. But it's time for a vacay. We're gonna have a party tonight. Come in a swimsuit. We ain't got no rules. And don't tell your parents. But we're partying with Tim Pool. Partying with Tim Pool. We're partying with Tim Pool. I am only 15, living every kid's dream. Partying with Tim Pool. Partying with Tim Pool. Man, this guy is so cool. No other kids here, dizzy from this root beer. Partying with Tim Pool.